What a day to be alive. Welcome to Rise Up with Rick. We are passionate about helping you extract the most out of every day and exploring and enhancing all things physical, mental and emotional well-being and performance. We are brought to you by runners.com. That's runnez.com, as well as rickmirabella.com. Radio, let's launch now.
G'day and welcome to Rise Up with Rick. Oh yeah, oh boy. On the show today, joining me, the great man. Have a look at him, he's up and about already. Two-time Essendon Premiership player, absolute megastar inside mid-centre, one of the smartest football brains you'll ever see. He was good enough to come top two in the BNF a couple of times, one of those in 1999, it was an elite outfit. He was also player of the finals in 2000, which many people consider the greatest football side of all time. One of Essendon's favourite sons, if not the most popular footballer to ever play at Windy Hill. He's got to be bloody close. He was named number 42 from memory in the Essendon's greatest players of all time. Not bad from a mega club over 150 years of age, and also one of the great characters of all time. I welcome Smokin Joe Misiti.
Rick, thanks, mate. What an intro.
Man,
and you got it all right too, mate.
Yeah, I got it all right, brother. No notes needed here. I just wheel off the top of my head. Thank you for coming down. Now, Joey, he's always on the road, but he's come down to Aspendale, Bayside, Melbourne here, for those out of Vic, to join us here for a chat, having a coffee and having a great chat about old times. But not just old times, because he's doing some great things in sport and life now. Playing off six, you tell me, still?
Yeah, playing off 6 months, so yeah.
Hitting on well?
Hitting on well, mate, at the moment.
And he's got golf, he's got cricket, he's got his 3 beautiful kids, and businesses going on really, really well. Where do we find you right now in life, Joey? And then we'll take us back down memory lane for a bit.
Oh, geez, what do you want to know, mate? What do you want to know? No, mate, I work for a company called ACC Labour Services at the moment. Supply all labour to all the union sites around Melbourne, their office in Brisbane and WA. Great job, great bunch of people. Yeah, it's very enjoyable. 3 kids, one 21, twin girls are 16. So, scarily enough, my son takes after me. So there's a few loose weekends he has, which just reminds me of me. Takes me back down memory lane. I'm thinking, shit, I did that when I was 19, 20. But he's good, and the girls are 16 into year 11 at the moment, mate. Just about to do year 12 next year. So
twin girls, not a beautiful mix, and at least you know exactly what's going on in the young fella. What's his name?
Josh.
In young Joshy Misiti's brain. You know exactly the route he's going to take.
Yeah,
so you know him very well because you've treaded that path before. Joe Misiti. Now this is craziness. You do turn a big milestone next week. Not to date this episode, but you're a big milestone. But for any football fan, for any sporting fan in the 90s who knew anything about anything, this fella on my left was one of the key parts in an Essendon side that was really, I think, famous and a bit had a lot of mystique about it. Even now, over 30 years later, people talk so fondly of that baby bomber side, but it all started from earlier days. You played under 19s with so many of those boys. To end, I think the kids coming through the system now in the Coates League and the like, give these listeners a bit of an idea, because you grew up in local. Gypsy's having a sneeze there. Might have to get rid of you, Gypsy. Well, you grew up in the local area. You're down at Windy Hill at 15, playing under 19s. Tell us how all that came to be, and then we'll get on to your path to senior footy. But it's crazy to think about that now.
Yeah, well, it was all different back then, mate. It was introduction to played a while footy at Killer Park. Started there when I was age of 5. Dad reckons my first year I didn't touch the footy. I just threw mud at my opponents for the whole year, which is all right. And yeah, I was lucky enough to play on the combined sides and the 12s, 14s. Played the Northwest under 15 schoolboy side, which was an Essendon zone, because back then there were still zones, which was the last year. So the age of 15, got asked to train down at Essendon in the 19s as a 15-year-old. First ever coach was Ray Slug Jordan.
Yeah, he goes hard, the boy.
He goes hard, all right. So lucky enough to play a couple of years in the 19s, and then age just about turned 17. And that was the last year of the under 19s. They went to the under 18s, which was, I think, I don't know what it was called, whatever, VSFL. So all the zones were gone now.
And you would have been in Northern Knights?
No, I would have been Western Jets or Cobra Cannons.
Corner, of course.
Yeah. And lucky enough, I got at 17, got put in the senior list. I was the last one put on the list. Good story about this. Dennis Bagan coached me for 2 years in Teal Cup. Liked what he saw, and that's the year he came over to Essendon the first year to coach the Essendon 2s. And without Dennis Pagan really going to bat for me, I don't think I would have got the senior list. So every time I see Dennis Pagan, which I do, I already saw him a couple of weeks ago at a restaurant, always go across and thank him for my senior career.
Wow, I reckon you make your own luck, and Pags knew what he saw, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, good call. You got to get it. You got to remember those people who cross paths. If you had your good mate Mercs joined you in, I think was it a state side under 12 or some school?
You've done your homework,
some
haven't you?
school boy. Is that correct? You and Mercuri were like peas and carrots going through that era, and you had a few other boys from that area, obviously playing in this 19s side with you.
Yep.
And for the listeners and viewers again who are under 30 and don't remember this era, it's a ridiculously good era. Under 19s, good football. The reserves, it was called then, which is now the VFL, ridiculously good football. But you're a 15, 16-year-old kid playing against men every single week in the reserves, we're talking now. Take us through a few of those early reserve games, because I'm trying to remember, the Bombers weren't flash as far as the senior side in 91, 92.
No, they weren't, mate. They were okay 90 because
Of course they were.
wasn't it on? Wasn't it a video?
I've just thrown him.
Me, mate.
I've thrown Joey. He's got a lot of computers going on here. He goes, what's that big screen going over there?
Mate, I've got no idea, mate.
Disregard, Smokin. He's okay. I've just done a little sneak on the side there. Mate.
Yeah, so back then it was completely different, mate. But Essendon was going okay. Obviously, Sheets took over when he did, whatever it was. Was it 80?
Sheets, 81.
What it was. Built a pretty good side, 84, 85.
Some of your idols on that side?
Yeah, I played with Simon Madden, Terry Danaher. My best one was I growing up with Essendon fan, and Timmy Watson was my hero, and I got to play in the Premiership with Timmy Watson. So
some of your absolute
idols.
One of the greatest sides of all time, that 84 side, and then you got to play with, I think, in the reserves, what was it, Terry Danaher in the flag in 92? It's the reserves flag.
Reserves flag in 92 when I was 17,
You're just taking the piss that year from memory. I reckon, did you average about 39 touches a week?
Oh, I did, mate. Another story, I reckon 6-7 weeks in a row. I was only 17. I reckon I averaged 35 touches in a row. When I saw Sheets, I said, Sheets, come on, give me an opportunity. He goes, if you go out this week, get 35 touches, I'll play the week after. Anyway, I played Richmond. Paul DiMartino was playing. He played on me, great mate of mine. Had 47 touches, so he had no choice but to put me in the seniors the next week.
There you go, Sheets. There you go. Now, that's the very good story. 47 touches. Could find the agate, this bloke. He's real good IQ. And this is the thing, before we get on to your senior stuff and your mindset and the fun and games, the recruiters, I hope it's gone back. I've worked with so many draftees, Smokin, that over the last 2 decades, and they got the footy IQ, they've got everything, and they get overlooked, end up eventually hopefully making a list, some don't. They're trying to make themselves important sometimes, these guys, with athleticism and all they want to find is the negatives. How about looking at the blokes' positives?
100%, yeah.
How about looking at the blokes' positives?
I'll tell you what, a side that's up and coming at the moment, I picked them for the flag, I reckon, next year, the Hawks. They've got the great mix, only because their coach, Sammy Mitchell's probably very similar to me. I don't think I had his IQ, but he was just a brilliant player, mate, left and right. Did it the hard way, and I think he's instilling that in Hawthorn at the moment, where he's got the great mix of athletes, which, as you're talking about, all the clubs are looking for blokes that can, do the vertical, whatever it is, run sub 1100 metres, and I forget to look for the blokes that can actually find the footy, which, in my opinion, is the most important part of footy.
I think so too.
I think he's got the great mix of the athletes, and he's got some, some really good old school footballers. That is John Newcombe, he plays.
John Newcombe.
I reckon he's a gun. They've got very, very similar players inside, which I think you need that perfect mix of. You need blokes to get in at the footy and know how to distribute it.
Well, you guys did have a good balance in 93, but in 92, like you're talking about playing for your idols. You're an Essendon boy growing up on the milk crate with your old man and uncle.
You've done your
listen, Joe, you know, and you're looking over the bloody fence and going, look at all these idols in a great era in the 80s there, and then all of a sudden, like you flick your fingers, you're bloody playing with them.
I was right. I was about to, as I said, I went every game with. I could tell you the story how my old man got into footy. So Dad was over from Italy. Him and his uncle were called Choco, which you can't probably call him
you
now.
can on this show.
I still do. They grew
Uncle Chop.
Uncle Chop.
We love him.
Bought a house in Nicholson Street, which is one that runs behind Windy Hill. So one Saturday afternoon, they hear this big noise. I said, "What's going on here? What the fuck's that?" Go have a look. They said, "Oh, what's going on?" There's these 30 or 40 grown men chasing a bit of leather. They've snuck out of the gate, had a look, and said, and they were hooked ever since. So they went every game. Then they dragged me along from the age of about 5. They used to put me in a little. They started as a milk crate. Then they actually built me a little stool. Stood behind the cheer squad every Saturday. My dad and my uncle had a few cans up in the wet area in the stand, and that's how it all started. Then 10 years later, I'm at the footy club playing with the blokes I was watching.
You knew you were good, but when you're playing, you've always got to have self-belief to make the highest level in whatever you want to do. But when you're doing that and you're playing with Simon Madden, Terry Danaher, Tim Watson, Mark Harvey, these guys, that last game in '92. Now, is this correct that you played? I can't remember. Terry Danaher, Solomon and Tim Watson's, or Watson's supposed last game.
Yeah.
Was that correct?
A farewell game at Waverley against Geelong.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so Timmy, Terry and Simon were supposed to retire. Obviously, Timmy Watson didn't, as she's talked to him back the following year. But yeah, it was just great to play footy with your idols. The great thing about playing with great players is you learn so much. I was like a sponge.
At 17, no less, listeners.
Yeah.
17 years
So
of
I
age.
used to love it. And the good thing was, because I was so young, they sort of took me under the wing. They said, "Who's this young prick?" You know, da-da-da. But I was in awe. But all I did was just watch them, how they train, what they did. Some of the things they did on the training track, I couldn't believe I could do. But that's how I reckon I developed so quickly. Because I was training and playing against and with so many great players of that era.
It's a great point. And I think your personality as well, like, we're going to get to that magical 93 season in a minute, but you're so affable and laid back. I feel like you wouldn't be sabotaging yourself at all as far as getting in your own way. Like a lot of youngsters, 17, 18, 19, they've just got all these pinned hopes on making AFL, this VFL, AFL dream, or being better than person bloody Joe Blow over there. But if you just would have been in your own zone, you concentrate on what you can control, and you take in from these blokes. So I reckon that's a big part of when junior players go well, like you did so well. You were performing like you could have been a Brownlow medalist at 18 for all, if they left you in the guts that year.
Yeah, true, mate.
We'll talk about that. Anyway, 93. So 93 comes around. Tell me about the summer. Oh, you played in the flag, sorry, and you won a BNF that year in the twos.
22, yeah. 17 won the twos BNF.
17 years of old. Hey guys, that's like a bloody 17-year-old kid winning a VFL best and fairest today. Think about that. Dolphins, Sandy, Box Hill and the like. A 17-year-old.
That's pretty good. Also won the under-19s best and fairest at 15 in my first year. So
how did I forget?
Never won a senior one, but won a 19s and a reserves
your
one.
little mate stuffed you around there, but that's not a bad trophy cabinet.
Yeah.
Now, 93, the summer of. Now, you boys were lads, good lads. They loved the beer, loved a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Was there a footy camp, or was there any pivotal moment? I know you didn't start the year very well. I think it was 0-5. Is
I
that?
think we won our first game in round 6 or 7. We had a draw, and their first win I think was around 6 or 7.
It was a mystical type year. I remember the build. Yeah. But tell us about, was there a camp or was it a train? Was anything of note that you remember, or was it just one of those things that, like a snowball, building momentum throughout the season?
Oh, I think it was. There wasn't. We did just have a lot of pre-season camps, but back then our pre-season camps used to entail of get there Saturday, train our asses off for 8 hours Saturday, but do what you want Saturday night.
Yeah.
Go home Sunday. Okay. And I'm a big believer. I know you shouldn't advocate drinking, but best way to develop camaraderie, I think.
Great man.
And we did it all the time.
We're speaking the same language.
Yeah, mate. Nothing wrong with a couple of beers on Saturday night, but that's where you get to know your teammates.
And you get to really connect on.
And people get the Dutch courage and come out and say things they wouldn't usually say if they hadn't had a couple of beers on their belt.
Things can be settled.
100%. And we had a great group. We had a great mix of experienced players, a great group of youngsters. I think we had 10 or 11 blokes under the age of 21 in that premiership side.
Phenomenal.
So there's a banter that always goes forward and backwards about, that they've seen the players reckon they won the game for us, and us kids say that without us and our speed, well, not directly me, without our ball movement, you wouldn't have got near it. So it's just a great mix.
You got to let Halves and Bomber and that know that they're...
Oh, we had a great league.
Everyone remembers the baby Bombers, not the 20 but they were phenomenal.
Right.
The momentum building, you're playing on elite footballers every week now. We mentioned that inside mid-combo, you were in the guts for a long time. With O'Donnell and the like, and you would have been playing on people like Buddha Hoggy, Diesel Williams, Robert Harvey every single Saturday. Prime midfielders, the greatest era of midfielders in my humble. And then what happened to Cheat? I can't remember why. I was grade 4 or 5. What happened? You went behind the footy. Sheet said, "Hey, what happened there?"
I played at start in the summer. I obviously played 2 games in 92, and then had a decent pre-season. Sheets are going to play in the middle. Mind you, never played in the middle. I just played on my junior footy as half back. So I never played in the midfield before.
Good size back then, 6'1" or whatever.
That was a key position back then. Now I'm a forward pocket at best at 6'1". And he said, "I'm playing the centre, you can read the ball well," and it sort of just clicked. I knew what was happening. I was going pretty well. I reckon half of the season I was leading the best and fairest. And then Sheets thought, this kid's only 18, we're going to build him out if we leave him in the middle too long, and he decided to put me down a half back. So I ended up coming 5th in my first year, but I was leading it like about around 12 or 13. So
leading it, I think
I always told Sheets that. I said, "You're a prick, mate. I haven't won a senior best and fairest. That's one of my best
years." On Sheets. Now you went to half back, but just still so intelligent with the footy. Great young side. Names like Misiti, Mercuri, your best mate from that area. You got Ella Renshaw. You got these young kids everywhere. Wanganeen, of course, not even 21, goes on to win the Brownlow. James Hurd, who was still very, very young, 20 and a half. I'm missing a few. Hill,
Hill's Dave
your man Calthorpe. He's a very...
Don't forget the 17-year-old fullback.
Wow, he went all right coming from school uniform.
That's a freaky story, that one.
My young fella's playing that school comp, and he was playing school footy on a Thursday at times, and then rolling in to training with school uniform, kid on. 48 hours later playing footy on the MCG.
100%. A couple of times he chose school over playing AFL. So the start of the story of this sheet, because obviously Dustin's dad's a great Kenny Fletcher. Had a meeting, he's only 17. We think he's going to be a player. I just wanted to play a few reserves games this year. This was 93. He goes, I just want to play a few reserves games. Anyway, I think it was around 6 or 7. He made his debut. He made his debut in the ruck against Justin Madden at Prince's Park. And never played fullback in his life. And she thought, let's get in a fullback when you're 17 to play on Modra, Dunstall, Kernahan, Carey, Lockett. Who else was there? There was Longmire. Oh, it was the best era for full forwards ever. They know a big beast. And Fletcher's still only maybe 80 kilos wing and weight. That's a freakish story. And he'd probably become nearly the best fullback Essendon seen, and club record holder, and only one of 5 or 6 and played 4 AFL games.
BNF in that Super Team.
BNF in the 2000 year,
But look, he was a star, Fletcher. But I think a lot's to be said. I think Sheeds, a lot's to be said for that intuitive coaching. Coaching is half art, half science. Doesn't matter what you do. And the art of Sheeds to bring you fellas, and I loved his balance with your group. In particular, that early 90s group, which is a great balance. You used the adjective balance earlier. Like, he had the super freaks who maybe wouldn't say boo and long on the wing, who I'm not sure how hard he was at training, but I can't imagine him doing too much, especially in the winter. And you had some real, I can imagine some real workhorses. You had yourself who really, you extracted everything out of yourself on the track, but wanted to have some fun off the field, which I reckon is a great mix. Amazing side building. The superstars in that era, like, I think every single AFL supporter used to wake up the Herald Sun and look up your stats. I remember doing it grade 5, grade 6, because I loved playing centre as well, looking at Joe, awesome, 25, 30, 35. And then probably you look at Mercuri on the more skillful side, or the more polished and Hurd. Just people, everything. You had Boris just snagging goals for fun, Darren Buick. It was just a great mix.
Oh, we did. We had great leaders in Bomber Thompson, Mark Harvey, Gary O'Donnell. Don't forget the big fish, Paul Salmon. We had the enforcer down back in Dean Wallace. We just had a really good mix of tough pricks, young kids that really didn't care, and then old experienced heads that have to sort of think, shit, how do we navigate these kids coming through, especially when we started winning and when you were going to play finals? How do we keep control of these kids? Because back then in 93, mate, you went out on Saturday night, come home Sunday, you train Tuesday, Thursday, and you'd be back at it Saturday night. So they had to try and rein us in a little bit. They tried, but I still remember prelim after we beat Adelaide. I think we're still at the tunnel about 6 a.m. Sunday morning, we had a grand final to play 6 days later.
This is what it's about. So local football, and again, it's probably gone even away from this. And I'm in the high performance game, but I love this. I was exactly of Joey's era, obviously a little bit younger, but we're all the same. Local footy, you have fun with your mate. Now tell us, that was very funny. Every Saturday night out, tunnel. So what are there any other joints? What are the main ones?
Oh, you get the tunnel, you get the Grand, which was a big nightclub in Essendon. On Sunday was the Depot. I think the Depot, the Star Bar. Always the same place, just the same faces. So
tell me, who was some of your great during that season '93? Because you're winning most weeks from round 6 onwards. You're starting to build in the papers, on the news, and you're only 18. Don't forget. Who were some of your biggest partners in crime off the field?
Oh, mate, no doubt. Well, Fletcher sort of scores, and then big Alessio. He didn't play in '93. He was at the club.
Big Cess.
One of my great mates, probably Alessio, Mercuri, Dave Calthorpe was the Maltese Rockwell. He was probably my main partner in crime.
He'd go good on the scooters, wouldn't he?
He's pretty good. He's probably the funniest bloke I've ever met. He's just
that's a fair.
Oh, mate, he's just if you met him the first time, you think he's a rude, arrogant prick. But that's just the way he is. Once you're warm to him, mate, he's so entertaining, mate. I can sit there for 8 hours and just listen to him talk. He's a very, very funny man, mate. And so it was just a little tight crew that used to go. Hillsy was another big one. There's go out a fair bit, but
Dan Wallace would have gone right.
Dan Wallace, he's the best I've ever seen, mate.
That's a very good
mate. On a free trip, his rule was he has to be the last to bed every night. So he could be buying drunk at, say, 4 p.m. And sometimes you get home at 7 a.m. and he'd hang on for that long because his only rule was have to be the last to go to bed.
What a test of endurance.
Which is, mate, fucking machine.
What a machine. Okay, so you're coming through. Now, this is the last bit on this because it's a very good, funny era. Because you've got to remember, these guys and the Kangas were the best in the 90s, right? This whole era, and the West Coast Eagles. And you bookended it a bit, you guys, but you and the Kangas were notorious for your Saturday, Friday nights. Well, they were playing Friday nights, getting Corey McKernan and Spa every night, and you guys were out all night. But you got the job done. Monday morning, straight back to business, and you're not too high, not too low. Had some fun, move on. Was there a final that you sat through before the first final of that particular year? Was that correct? Did you miss? Were you in '93? Were you out? Was there a final?
No, I missed the first week.
So first week of the final. So you got done by 2 points.
Yeah, so we played Geelong.
Were you trying to be inconspicuous in the crowd? Is this correct?
Yeah,
Have I got my mail already?
Oh, well, put it this way, I did have a few cans watching the footy when I was out injured.
Trying to be inconspicuous in the crowd.
I was alright. A lot of people still didn't know me, and back then you didn't have to go to the footy if you're injured in your full kit. So I just went casually with a couple of Killer Park boys, and they're at the bar, and I'm thinking, oh, why not? So I got stuck in the cans a fair bit watching that Essendon Carlton game. We lost by 2 points.
Lost by 2 points. Would have wanted you there. But then after that, it was just momentum, and it just rolled.
It was.
There was the famous prelim.
Yeah.
What are you thinking at half time? Now, for the listeners again, out of Australia, these are just good stories from one of the greats of our time. So buckle in and do some Googling if you're not in Australia. And if you don't remember this game, 7 goals down at half time.
Yeah.
I reckon the Crows kicked an early one. I reckon you're 8 goals down.
We were. They kicked
early in the third
quarter. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, oh shit, what time are we going to the tunnel? We're going to have a big week. We're doing this, we're doing that.
Plenty of time for grand finals.
Yeah, no,
I'm 18.
That's what we thought. We didn't really think, because as I said, we were just young kids. We had no scars from teams, years prior, or we weren't worried. That's what a young kid does, a bit of bravado. We thought, shit, especially at half time, we walk in, and Shegs didn't say that much. It was more Bomber Thompson, Gary O'Donnell, Mark Harvey. They've come in because they're at the end of their career. Gaz hadn't won one yet. Harves had won a couple. There's a young superstar in 84, 85. A couple of the older fellas hadn't won one, so they just dragged us in and said, boys, listen, we've either got 2 weeks to go footy, so I'm going to go footy, or we can finish tonight and waste the whole season. And they just brought us in and said, all we do now, we've nothing to lose. We're 7 goals down. Let's just try and get it back to 3 to 4 goals at 3/4 time, and then we think we can overrun them. Because Sheeds was big and Adelaide were old. If we get close to them, we're going to overrun them with a young, youthful side. And as you said, mate, they kicked the first goal after half time. We're 48 or 49 points down. And we're thinking, what's going on? And the Red Rover, Darren Buick, turned it on, kicked 6 in the second half. And a young Indigenous kid in the wing called Michael Long just turned it on. And when that man turns it on, mate, no one can get near him. And after that, it was just a juggernaut. We knew no one was going to get near us grand final day. Even though Carlton were red-off favourites, they had the experience, they had the legend, you had Kernahan, Williams, Bradley, all these blokes. They were freaks, so no one sort of gave us a chance. And I think we kicked 9 or 10 scoring shots in the first quarter, and it was over and done with.
Grand final parade. Mate, I just want to kudos on that day. It was a phenomenal day. I think everyone probably remembers where they were. Like Michael Long, Boris getting going, the youngsters. It was just like a tsunami of pace and ball movement.
That was our motto. So Dave Webb was our assistant coach. Our motto was speed kills. So that was our sponsor. So he just took it on. So it didn't matter if you were fast, because I'm far from fast. It was just move the ball fast. Get it on, give it to the quick blokes, and away we go.
Especially back then, like, you've got to remember, listeners, we're still coming out of the 80s where it was kick to a contest, and almost 1v1 stuff. These guys were tsunami football, just bloody move it. Yeah. And I reckon that you were 45 kicks, you'll move, run and carry, overlap, and before its time, really. Grand final week, how did you cope? Obviously, you had a bit nice Saturday night, but then moved on straight into the business. Train as normal, grand final parade?
Training as normal. I've never seen so many people training before. Because I've never experienced it. The older boys said, like,
goosebumps.
Timmy Watson and halves and that said, mate, just be ready. There's going to be like 5,000 people training. I said, fuck off. More people come and train. So it's like the Tuesday night we had about 3,000 or 4,000. Come Thursday night, I reckon it was 10,000 in Windy Hill. Windy Hill was chopped like a game, choppers. And I couldn't believe it. I'm looking around and the boys are just laughing. I said, don't get overawed. It's only a crap. I never get overawed. I'm pretty relaxed.
You're very good.
The only reason I played so many, if I didn't play so many games at Essendon, I would have played 500 games at Killer Park. I just love playing footy. So it didn't matter what level I played. But just looking around and taking it all in, and they said, mate, just wait till you get the grand final parade on the Friday, and then wait till you get the Saturday. It's completely different. So we were sort of ready for it, and that was the key, having those experienced players in the side. They can they've been there, done that, this is what's going to happen. Instead of, because if too much comes out and it's too much of a surprise, some people can get taken aback and don't know how to handle it, but we knew exactly what was coming. So
these boys a decade ahead, literally a decade ahead, which isn't often either. Like, the list management these days try to get a nice balance, but you guys literally had 10 under 21.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then
10 over 25.
Yeah, which is not the norm.
No, it's not at all.
Hence why we're still talking about this amazing squad 31 years later. Grand final, but the game itself played out as not many expected, but the momentum that you guys spoke of was probably the way you thought it was going to play out anyway. Like Michael Long got on his bike on a wing. I think you had 20 or something, and the midfield half back, the engine just worked.
Yeah, it did.
Everyone did their job. Long was Norm Smith. Wanganeen got forward, kicked that marvellous goal.
Yeah, 100%.
You kicked off. Tell you what. Did you know you
pretty good. I was waiting for you to bring that up, mate. I was waiting.
Now listen. I was the worst kicker in the MPNFL, but you are a very nice kick. Make no mistake. Very efficient, amazing by hand, fine space. Did you know you hit that 55 metres out in fucking row 15, wherever you
You
were?
want the true story or the made-up story?
I want the made up.
No, mate, I went back, as I said, Mum and Dad used to come to footy every week, never missed a game. I was told the boys that Mum used to have a favourite thing to do, she had an urn with hot water in it. She used to bring cocktail frankfurts to the footy. I used to love them, miss the games. And I'll tell a story that I was that far back and that close to the boundary line. She was in row 10 and I actually got a cocktail frankfurt and ate it. And then turned around and just slotted the goal. He was about 40 out. And I did start from the fence.
You did?
And had to come round. But I just wanted to get it up close. I thought, the game's only one now. Let's have a crack and see what happens. And it didn't look a lot missing.
It was 3/4 time.
Right, siren, yeah.
Yeah, right
Kicked
on
at the siren went.
Was Sandy Roberts' favourite bit of commentary, I think. The Bombers have said catch me, and catch us if you can.
That was up at Longy.
Was that Longy?
Yeah. With me, guys, I think Smokin Joe goes bang and what a way to go or something like that.
It's just there's some brilliant iconic bits of commentary from that game alone. Long's goal, Silvani's touch one, all that stuff. There was and Wanganeen when it was just a brilliant. It was one of those days, and I don't remember grand finals this vividly, all of them. Not just because I got this fella on my left, but it's one of those days. All right, you've won the flag at 18. You've come top 5 in the BNF. 12 months ago, you hadn't even played. You played 2 games of AFL footy. The aftermath, best on. There's some real good footage of you blowing rings on Channel 10.
Yeah.
That's how good is that? There's some good. Hey, I don't even know if it's on YouTube. I don't know how I know this, but I know it's in my brain.
No, it's everywhere.
Smokin Joe blowing some nice circles.
Blowing a big Cuban cigar.
Yeah, Cuban cigar.
Blowing a big cigar, yeah.
Well, that's good skill.
Eddie Maguire came in. Eddie Maguire was only still young. He was only a reporter, and he sort of come in and got me, and he saw me blowing smoke rings in the corner. He goes, can you blow one from the camera? And mate, you've been 18. I was fucking probably 60 beers deep at that stage. I said, well, no worries. So I started blowing smoke rings, and all of a sudden it's on the news. Me blowing smoke rings.
Hey, he's good at everything. Cricket, golf, footy, and these rings.
No, good ones.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, good ones.
Obviously some huge days.
Mate, imagine this. I've got to tell people, I'm 18 and you got the keys to the city for a week. It was just, it was just a great day. I got stuck with I got stuck with Dean Wallace a lot. He was just, because Dean Wallace is just
He would have been his protege.
We love him. You love being flex, but Dean Wallace is one of the nicest. Everyone sees him as this fucking rough, a bit of a thug in the field. He's probably the nicest and best bloke you're going to meet. He's just got a heart of gold, will do anything for you. And I just was stick around him because he was similar to me. He just liked to have a good time and just didn't like going to get footy get in the way. But we just had a good time, and whenever we had the chance to do it, we did it.
I love Wally, and there's a reason why Sheedy loved you guys so much as well, to be fair, because the dynamic from outside looking in was just that. Yeah. Like, you guys worked your ass off, you go to war for him on the field, but you need to keep the group light, and good things happen when you're having fun.
Yeah, true, mate. That's very true. Great point.
Good things happen when you're enjoying yourself. Yeah. Well, we already know what you're going to do. You've trained all week.
100%.
So why get in your own way and stress about things that...
My big thing about footy, right, if you don't enjoy yourself playing footy, you won't play at the level you want to play at. So people, they get anxious, they get overawed by it. As you said, you train during the week, you don't have to do anything else more on a Saturday. You have a bit of a game. I used to have a bit of a game plan. I used to do it on a Friday night, and the next I'd think of it was running out the ground. So I never used to overthink a lot of things, which a lot of players do now. But as I said, if you don't enjoy yourself, you're not going to get the best out of yourself.
It's brilliant, Joey, and that goes for anything in life. And
100%.
we talk about this stuff a lot on this show, Joey. I love getting you on and talking a bit of the lighter stuff, but that is all you need in life.
Yeah,
that
100%.
is there, and good people around you, good relationships, and just
enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself.
Have fun. Love that. Obviously, you had a good time. Wally down low. Was there any surprising Brett Best and Fairest off the field that year?
Michael Long really come over. Michael Long is a Tiwi Island boy, come up down from 2 islands. It's 35, 40 degrees up there. His first couple of years, I reckon, they couldn't find him during winter training. He'd always been in the sauna,
getting rubbed down
because it was too cold. So, but Longy, one of those blokes, as another one, just a legend of a man, Michael Long. Played in 2 flags with him. I just love him dearly. He never used to say anything, but when he said something, everyone would listen, everyone would stop. You hear a pin drop, and I didn't really know him. That was only 18. It's only his second year I knew him, and then you get a few beers in him, and he's probably the most entertaining and funny man I've met. He was just brilliant. He'd come out of his shell, and it was probably me, Longy, Wally. There's a fair few. We used to go all the time, but Longy was just so entertaining. He was probably my biggest surprise packet.
You're a legend, mate. And look, obviously you're a star, well spoken. Everyone loved you. From all sides, really, which was unique, especially Essendon. Well, Essendon, that side was pretty popular, I reckon, amongst amongst a lot of different AFL fans, not just the Bombers. The summer of '94 though, like you're coming in, you're starting to realise, okay, we've got to get back to work here.
Yeah.
I guess the quote unquote, it gets used too often, the word Premiership hangover. I don't know if it was a thing for you guys, but how did those next 12 to 18 months play out in your mind, now looking back at it retrospectively?
Well, I probably made my biggest mistake was probably going on Fairest of the Funship over Christmas. So after '93, that Christmas, I went with 8 of my mates from Killer Park at 18.
It would have been all inclusive, no doubt.
I was about all inclusive. Just cooked meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and all the grog you can have for 2 weeks with all my Killer Park, crazy blokes from Killer Park. And I reckon I put on probably 18 kilos in 2 weeks. But I didn't realise what professionalism was. I just went to train, I just trained, and that was it. But I never knew about what to eat. If you ate and drank all at the same time, that's when you put on weight. I didn't know all about that. I found out the hard way. '94 wasn't a great year because of that. Probably took me 6-8 weeks into this footy season to get going again, and so that probably wasn't that well prepared.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sorry, buddy. Look, do you remember early around '94? Because we've all been there at far lesser levels, but where you go, geez, I'm not in the shape I need to be. But when you couldn't get to a contest and then you were caught out again. Do you remember?
I think we played Westgate at Subiaco, and I don't live in Subiaco. Subiaco is the biggest ground in the world. It's huge. And I'm over there, 19-year-old. I'm not very fit at this stage. I'm still probably carrying 4 or 5 kilos. And it's just that game, because as I said, there's that much space. Usually the MCG or smaller grounds, you can sort of keep everyone on a leash. Over there you couldn't. And if you started playing, that's when some athletes started to come in, and I just couldn't keep up with them. And I knew shit. Next year I can't prepare like I did, and I was going to try and work my ass off in '94 trying to make it a waste. And so I come back a bit towards the back end of the year, but it was pretty much a waste of a year for me personally.
You say waste. Look, I think from stats and observers would say you're one of the more consistent footballers over your 230, 240 games.
Yeah.
And I would believe you were. From a numbers and an output perspective, as far as you may have other players around you better. I'm not pissing in your pocket, I think you did. But although there would have been a couple of those seasons, maybe that one, there might have been a period in time when you were carrying injuries.
Yeah, and like 98 as well.
Yeah, and so when you're carrying injuries and you're not athletically gifted, like a lot of these bastards are, it becomes very hard.
100%.
What was that injuries in '98?
I broke my jaw.
Yeah.
Byron Pickett got me flushed, MCG, Ansett Cup game.
Would have got 15 weeks these days.
I would have been rubbed out for life,
Yeah.
but not even a free kick was played.
Yeah, there you go.
So he got me flushed. I ended up still in the MCG because what happened, we got there, Sheffield Shield only just finished the weekend before it, we were playing on Thursday, Friday night. And we'd all gone on to look at the ground, and we've sort of said something to I don't know why, maybe the AFL official saying, a bit about cricket, when you're playing a turf track and it's just finished, it's still got that glassy finish on the top. And so it was that slippery. So we made a point of it, but they didn't say anything, they're going to play, nothing on. And I've gone down to get the ball, I've come to pick it up, and I saw Byron Pickett coming, I said, get out of the way. I tried to get out of the way, and I've just slipped on the track, on the cricket pitch. Lost my balance, he's got me flushed and broke my jaw in 3 places. So I missed 10 weeks and had a game in the twos and come back in the seniors, but had no fitness, had no confidence. Because you get your jaw busted, it can fuck with you mentally.
Absolutely.
And it did a little bit. So
well, would you playing one of the most combative games in the world,
100%.
Inside mid, and like you said, the lack of continuity, lack of pre-season, lack of genuine game time, it does fuck you, especially when everyone else has had 3 months at it. You were coming off pretty good. Look, we're blushing around, but the mid-90s, you made some finals, the famous plug a locket point after the siren, all those kind of things. How are your memories? I know you were runner-up in the BNF to the young rover, Shawnee Denham.
Shawnee Denham, 96.
Yeah, so
you come second.
Look, you had some really good periods. And as a club and as leading into this '99 season, what was the feeling? I know you had some, like Jimmy Hurd had some megastar years, and you had a lot of. What was the feeling in the group, and where were you at? Like has your routine changed, your mindset changed, or were you always been the same? And the team around you, how did that evolve?
Well, '98 was probably the turning year. Look, I had some good years previous to that, but I was never sort of A-League training level. And '98, I remember Rob Kerr came to Essendon, and Dr. Rob Kerr, we call him now, he came to Essendon, and he wrote something to me after I finished my career, which is brilliant. He goes, I saw you in '98, I thought you were just a fat kid wasting your time, but the pre-season I put in the start of '99, he just knew then that I was going to become, just take my game to a new level. That '99 pre-season was the hardest one I put in. I got off the grog for a fair bit. I was only drinking maybe once a month. I'd put aside a weekend, have a few beers, train my ass off. She sort of gave us all the ultimatum after '98, because I think out of my 14 years, I think I only missed the finals twice, and that was one of them. I think I even got dropped that year. I think we played seniors final, the first final lost, I think. No, sorry, end of the season. and then I got dropped for the last home away season. Only time I've ever been dropped. And I thought, shit, if I don't make a go of this, I'm going to get left by the wayside. And had a real crack, and then 99 was, was a great year for us. Coming from not making the finals 98, my first one, I can't remember, to, losing to Carlton by a point. But personally, that was probably one of my best years. I think I finished runner-up the best and fairest that year again to Mercs. I was getting beaten by this. We've got too many superstars playing around and taking votes off me. But so 99 to probably 2002 were probably my 3 or 4 best years. And in 99, it just clicked where she just pretty much threw the gauntlets down. So listen, boys, there's no futures guaranteed here. Essendon don't want to be in the bottom of the ladder. Essendon don't want to miss out in finals. We're a big club. We have to get back in the finals. And we just had a massive pre-season. That's the year John Quinn came on board. You know a bit of John Quinn. Give you a bit of background. John Quinn, athletics background, was head coach of the Australian athletics team. Wanted to change, couldn't spell football, didn't know what football was. He come from Sydney, so it was a rugby background. Came in and 99 and just changed the whole dynamics of pre-season. He was doing things that we've never seen before. Like we're doing 9 150 metre sprints, and that was a pre-season 9. Everyone thinks, geez, 9 150 sprints, it's not that hard. Go out and try and do 9 150 metre sprints as fast as you can with 60-second breaks. There's blokes vomiting.
That's footy running, mate.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And he just knew. He just knew what he
He knows physiology, John.
100%, and he knew it. He didn't care about football. He just wanted to get us up to be a bit more athletic, a bit fitter. And 99, 2000, 2001 are probably our years where we were so fit, never had injuries, and we were just a really good unit.
Well spoken. The 99 summer individually on you just remember being like you've always had a bit of fight now because you're a competitor, you're an animal, but you just remember being like real that dialed in.
I thought if I didn't, my career's gone. Yeah. So I knew I was only 25 then, so I was on the peak of my career. Yeah. That's when they say that the AFL you peak. I said, I've got to have a go at this. And I had a go at it, and surprise, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
He was runner-up in the BNF in what many described as one of the great home and away seasons of all time, and one of the great squads of all time, to his good mate Merc. I think Merc nearly won the Brown that year as well. To Croft, I think Croft had him in 99, I reckon.
Could have been,
lots of good footballers in that era. But Joey was runner-up in that amazing club BNF, and the final series was elite. A good thing being, really, in the prelim, the famous tackle or missed tackle, whatever you want to call it, from the great man Wally, but Fraser Brown. But look, that's football. 99 summer, going into that 2000 season, which I think started earlier because I think it was the Sydney Olympics from memory. So you guys had
it later. It started early. So the grand final was
everything was early. So you would have had a little bit of time to commiserate, get over that what could have been, and then move straight on. I think Jimmy Hurd was coming off navicular stuff.
Yeah, he played for a couple of years. Lucas didn't play 99.
So all these boys, 2 recruits. So February 2000, you got Hurd and Lucas come back in, fit. You're coming off career best. Everyone's a career best. A few new names add to the journey of from that mid-90s that weren't there, like the Johnson boys, not brothers.
Johnson boys, Ramascus.
Pretty hard nut by
Dean Solomon, the toughest prick I played with.
Yep.
Yeah, that year's 2000 started. Anyway, we lost the prelim 99. Everyone shouted. Everyone expected us to win. We probably expected us to win, but anyway, shit happens. And somehow Sheeds managed to get 40 grand final tickets. So on a Sunday, he rings us all. So we're going to the grand final next Saturday. And we're thinking, fucking, why were we there at the grand final? They made us sit through the grand final. It was North Carlton. Played and went to watch the whole game. Couldn't leave early. Then he took us over to a little Italian restaurant called Geppetto's, which is over near the Pullman. We sat down, had pasta and Sheeds, and Robert Shaw was a big one. Robert Shaw was a great assistant coach to Sheeds. Pretty much said, listen, that's years gone. Yes, we wasted a year, but who gives a shit? We're not to speak about it anymore, and we're just going to focus on 2000. So probably the best thing you could have done, because a lot of people would have just dwelled, well, we should have done this, we should have done that. So the season sort of started, Princeton sort of started the grand final day of 99. And then we started training, and we just had no injuries. Everyone was in career best form. And it's the greatest season that was ever was, and I think ever will be. Everyone says, mate, wouldn't you like to go through undefeated? I said, you don't really get anything extra for undefeated season. The worst thing is you see so many junior sides get undefeated and lose the grand final. So the only thing we wanted to do was win a grand final. But 2000 was a pretty special year, mate. Like we most games half time, put the queue on the rack. Sheeds would take me off for a quarter, Hurdy off for a quarter, Square Lucas, Lloydie to get rest. And I think the average winning margin in 2000 was 47 or 48 points. So it was quite a smashing year, mate. No one could get near us. And you played footy, mate. Sometimes the ball down in the back, it'd be 3-on-3, it'd be, say, Fletcher, there'd be Solly, Dean Wallace or Hardwick. and I'd be out in the centre, and I knew 98% of the time they're going to win it. So before the ball was even into the contest, I'd be already ducking out the wing, because you can do that sort of thing, because you have that much confidence in your teammates. So it sounds silly, but it was a pretty easy year to play in, because we were just that good. I still can't believe it.
Well, easy, and you want to enjoy it. You work hard, you've done the work.
Yeah,
You have lots of preparation leading up to that season, that calendar year. So you make your own luck, you let it get, mate. If you're allowed to enjoy the fruits and be able to see these games in slow motion, which must feel amazing, especially on the biggest stage of all. The season was clinical, the side was clinical, and still 24 years on, it is the greatest season of football that anyone's ever seen.
100%.
There's been nothing close to that. They're not even close. And the balance, we use that word again, of that side was phenomenal. You mentioned the back 6 or 7. The midfield group was elite. And ahead of the footy, the forward group. Yeah, already heard. Lucas. Extras.
Mark Mercuri, it's a decent forward line.
Craziness.
When Merckx gets the 5th best defender, you know you've got a decent forward line.
Imagine Merckx lined up on the 5th best defender.
He's still running his round.
Call the bloody cops. But anyway, look, the finals, I'm really, that side deserved one flag, and the finals come around. And I dare say, look, as a footballer or an athlete or a performer of anything in any craft, or a musician or artist, when you perform on the biggest stage, I reckon that's hats off. And you can look back in 50 years, have a beer and go, I performed on the biggest stage. You were named player of the finals that season, which everyone says the greatest side of all time. One particular game. Now this is 41-4, 41 touches, 4 goals, 11 clearances, 10 inside 50s, 5 tackles. This man here. Think about those numbers.
It's a pretty big day.
Could you talk about? You could have 6 schooners and talk about that game.
Oh yeah, it was good. Just one of those days.
North Melbourne, yes.
Playing North Melbourne, they were premiers the year before, so they were no knockouts. Good squad, the duck up there, Corey McKernan, they're a superstar side. And they had the wood on us, probably up to 99 of the wood on us. So we just turned up, and we still had demons from previous year. No one talked about it, it was just in the back of our minds, saying, listen, we've got another chance here. There may not be another chance come along, so let's make the most of it. And that day, I think we won by 20 odd goals. We kicked 30 goals in a final, which had never been done before. I think we're still the highest scoring final score ever. And we're sort of playing with them. North Melbourne didn't know what to do. And the ball just kept falling on your lap. And I ran forward, which didn't usually do that often, because as a midfielder in Sheep's rule, don't go forward. Your job is to play the back 2/3, so play mid and back line, push down to help the back line, then push forward to get into the forward line. Got forward a couple of times, kicked 4 and had 40 odd, so it was a pretty decent game.
So. On the biggest stage of all, playing against the reigning premiers.
It was good.
You were pretty up and about, and that finals just went to script, really.
Oh, it did, and then the biggest one was playing Carlton, the prelim again. So everyone's, you can imagine the articles, can Carlton beat them again? Essendon are favourites. And the first quarter was pretty even, and even I was thinking, what's going on here? Carlton are bogey side. And then we just went bang, 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 put a gap on them. I think we won by 8-9 goals in the end. And we're going to Melbourne, we knew Melbourne would get close to us. I think we had 15 scoring shots in the first quarter. We had some absurd amount of scoring shots in the first quarter. I think we had 40 scoring shots there, 15 for the day. So I always go on scoring shots. I don't go by goals, I go by scoring shots. So have 40 to 10 or whatever, it was between 10 and 15 for Melbourne. That's a smashing. If we kicked straight, we would have won by probably 20 goals.
And I remember as a supporter, not of Essendon, but of the game, just being really happy that you got that, because it was like a side like that, from a historical sense, deserve one premiership, and they deserve to see the season out the way. And legends like yourself, 2-time, and all you guys from '93 that were still there, Mercx, Longy, Fletcher, they deserve to be 2-time. Jimmy, Fletcher being F that year, but it was just a balance of side. The fact that none of you midfielders and you had a full back when you're being F just shows the magnificent balance. I reckon that was a great full stop on the season for mine. Tell us about the celebrations that year. They would have tasted really sweet, vindicated, and hopefully they would have sunk in a bit more, maybe.
I was completely different. In '93, I remember Bomber Thompson coming to me and he goes, mate, when I won 84, 85, him and Haas, we celebrated, we got drunk really quick and we didn't really remember too much. And that's what I did a bit in '93. And in 2000, I was there in 84, 85, where I just wanted to take it easy. I wanted to see mum and dad and my sisters and brothers smiling in the change rooms, then coming out to celebrate with us later. All the supporters. The biggest thing to me is the supporters. You don't know how passionate Essendon supporters are. And when you win a flag, you see something in their eyes, you think, geez, is this bloke going to kiss me or what's going to happen? It was just a great week after it. But as I said, I try to tell young blokes, try and tell Rammer and Dean Solomon and the Johnson boys to take it easy. bit hard to do.
Good
But
luck telling Solly to take it easy.
yeah, I know he's a madman, that man. But it was a different celebration. As I said, I took it. I sat back a bit more and just took it all in.
That's the purpose and why, and you think about your true purpose and why, like your family and those things. It's something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I know it was. I didn't realise that till after 2000. Yeah, especially so in the rooms after. Like we get together, and that year we didn't sing the club theme song at all. That's another story I'll tell you. We did until grand final day, and the theme song when we sung it after the grand final was massive. They found all those 10,000 people in the rooms, and it was just huge. It was massive.
Just quickly take us through that, mate.
So what happened was, I think we were around 5 or 6. She's been our Richmond boy. Kevin Bartlett was a legend. Had dinner one night, and Kevin Bartlett came in and talked to us, and he just explained about finals and home and away seasons. Obviously, Tigers were a pretty successful side when KB was playing, and he just didn't understand the club singing the club song after every win, when your whole aim and your whole goal and your whole focus is to win a flag. And he goes, why don't you try this? Why don't you just not sing the song until you win the grand final? I thought, that's a bit strange. The strangest thing was going to the rooms and we win, and all the cameras are waiting for us to sing, and then we'd all just look at each other and we go to lockers and get changed, and they didn't know what to do. So from round 6 onwards, we didn't sing the song until grand final day, and we sang it with gusto. We had like 20 odd weeks to make up to. So
it's a great song too.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. It depends on it's horses for courses.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you see, and Geelong, I'm a Geelong man, and Geelong it's almost it's just like clinical and forced. Like the song's about emotion. It's about heart. It's about connection to your mates, the club, and the people that have come before you. Whereas I'm not. And that day in 2000, in September, it would have been sung for weeks on end. You would have been in the ground just singing it. What was the best rendition in a bar that you've done? That it's a grand.
Our Mad Monday was pretty good. We always went up to the social club at Windy Hill, and sort of everyone got in. The sort of doors were locked.
Rendition.
No one could come in. We sang it a few times that day.
Yeah.
And just got every time you sang it, it got sweeter, and I think you appreciated more what you just did. You don't realise there's not too many people playing an AFL Premiership. And I've got a couple in the end, and you just realise all the effort you've put in, all the sacrifice you make are actually worth it. And to me, the Mad Mondays were always the best, because it was just the players, the coaches, and the support staff. And most of our parents, my man was there most of the time as well. So it was really tight. Uncle Chop was there, 100%. Got a great photo of him and my whole family with the Premiership Cup at home, and Uncle Chop's there. He's a legend, Uncle Chop. But it just makes you realise. And that day, because it was just the inner sanctum, they're the ones that knew all the hard work you put in. It was just, they're the greatest days, I think.
Was it your 15-year-old? Was it Noel Judkins or someone else? Thought I know Judkins was
Judkins was there.
But all those boys, but you would have had some doubters as a 15, 16-year-old with your work ethic or athletic attributes or whatever it may be. Looking back after 240 odd games and you're two-time Premiership player already, that was over 26 years of age. You go, geez, I've done not bad from 10 years ago.
I think I was lucky I was in that era, because I reckon if I tried to play AFL footy in this era, I don't know one to look at me. Because as I said, I'm pretty slow. I can't jump.
Yeah, but I reckon you're being. Yeah. So I reckon you're being.
My greatest asset was my brain was fast. I knew the footy was going before 5 seconds before anyone else.
I reckon you're being modest there, mate. I reckon you would have worked around. You would have found a way. Because if you're a 16-year-old Joey now, you've still got the same desire. You've still got the same attitude as far as let's have some fun with this. But you find a workaround effect. I
think they found too when I played, under 19s. Because under 19s, you're still playing against men. Because Essendon are all different. We played young kids. We're North and Melbourne. They played all 18, 9-year-olds. And you know the difference body type like is from a 15, because I was only tall and skinny, and to these 18, 9-year-old men, they've got hairy chests and beards, and they're fucking men, and they want to kill you. So I think they saw me play pretty well in the 19s as a kid against men. I think they really liked that about me. So
that's good.
Which was a good thing to have going forward.
It's always a good indicator. If you can get a kick against blokes that are bigger and stronger and want to kill you, and you've got the desire and the IQ. After 2000, you're still only 26. And you played some very, very good football in the next couple of years. The game was changing. Like I think the then Colonial Stadium coming under a roof.
I think it was Telstra when we first played.
Whatever it was, Colonial, Telstra, whatever. And it started to come in, and those little. The game just started changing a bit. Would you find yourself after the flag? I won another good year, grand final against the Brizzy Lions.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that day? You hadn't played in the losing grand final that day. So how was that day? Because it's a different emotion, I can imagine, at that level especially.
Yeah.
How did that unfold, that 0-1 Granny?
It wasn't great. Obviously, we probably run into probably the best team collectively in the last probably 50 years in the Lions. They're first to the three-peat, but we just found it was different. It was a really hot day. It was like 28 degrees September. We're not used to that sort of stuff. as I said, none of this is excuses. Just a couple of things. We had a few blokes that had missed. Obviously, missed 10 weeks that season. So we had a few blokes going in. Merck's had a crook groin and started hurting. As I said, I'm taking another one of the Lions because they would have beaten us at full strength. But just a few things. Maybe we were still hanging on to 2000. Maybe the desire wasn't at 100% where it should be. Maybe it was only about 96, 97. And as I said, I think, I'm trying to think of the story I always tell. I think we were in front at half time. I think we had the first 6 shots of the third quarter. We kicked 1 goal 5. Kicked 3 goals 3. We win the game. And then Brisbane Lions ran over the top of us. Disappointing day. You think, shit, what did I train so hard all day for, all pre-season for, all those sacrifices during the year, and then I go to the piss with the boys, So you feel like it's a bit of a waste, but I still find myself very, very lucky that I played in 3 grand finals.
Amazing.
And I won 2. A lot of players, I think Dyson Headwood just retired and didn't play in a winning final, isn't it? And you got legends, I think Bobby Skelton never played in a final. Danny Hawkins didn't play many, all these legends that didn't. So I find myself, I still say I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I got the most out of my career, and I'm very happy with what I did. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change a thing for the world, mate.
You really did, mate. And moving into that next couple of years, when you did you know? Was there a moment in time when you said, because you did retire very young, you were a couple of months shy of 30, which is bloody young.
Yeah.
Especially, I know players go a bit longer these days, but in 04 was still young. I think you and your good mate retired at the same year. Is that correct?
Mark Mercuri and Sean Whalen retired at the same time.
Very good trifecta.
Yeah.
How did it all evolve? Did you have a moment in a game or a training where you go, you know what, I just can't see another 12 months?
No. So in 01-02, 01 had a decent year, but I got missed 10 weeks, which killed me. Then 02, I broke my wrist early. I was one of the best in Fairest in round 5. Broke my wrist, missed 10 weeks. Come straight back in the seniors. I think ended up coming 3rd or 4th that year. So that was one of my great years. And then 2003, the ball wasn't falling in my lap anymore. Like I just go out there and I know it sounds silly, but I just knew where it was going on the ball. I was above my lap. So 2003, I was sort of winding down. I think the game was speeding up a little bit, maybe catching up with me. And in 2003, she just said to me, listen, you've got 2 choices. You're going to play a minimum salary, and we're probably going to play off the bench, or just retire now. And I said, well, just give me 1 more year and we'll see how we went. And the year, it wasn't a great one, mate. I was used to playing in the centre all day, every day. I never changed. There was no rotations back then. I played a full 2 hours in the middle. That's the only way I needed to play footy. And starting on the bench, you'd always go to the bench and you had, I shouldn't be here, you had a bit of a chip in your shoulder. This is like a shit house, I should be playing more. And then it sort of caught up with me. And the big thing I found that I stopped enjoying it. So I always said, once I stop enjoying it, I'm going to stop. So that was it, end of the year. I had me exit meeting with Sheeds. And Sheeds and I looked at each other, we sort of smiled and laughed. And I just thanked Sheeds for giving me the opportunity to play AFL footy, for being the best and only senior coach I've had. And that was it. We sort of just come to an agreement that I think my time was up. I was starting to get even slower. And that was it. Then went back and played a couple of years at Killer Park after that, mate.
Just quickly, what a great relationship and story. For the listeners overseas, this is the point, this is like the NFL, EPL, and he's playing at the very highest level you can get. Essendon is like the Man United of AFL. He's like the Dallas Cowboys. That is it. So he's just that relaxed. He's like, oh, we're done here, coach. We're done.
Pretty much.
I'm not going to hang on. Why am I going to hang on for an extra couple of years for the sake of really? And that's the kind of bloke you are, though. The transition to the normal world, quote unquote. How'd you go? Did you know what you were going to do?
Yeah, I had no idea, mate. I had no idea. I finished, as I said, at 29. Already had Josh, my young son, there. I was married at this stage. I said, I'm going to stay home and be a full-time dad. So the ex-wife went to work. And did it for about 18 months. Loved it. It was good. It was hard. It was good. Yeah, it was different. I got to spend the first 18 months of my son's life with him.
Marvellous.
And then she comes home, we're having twins. I said, I better get a job. So I'm looking after 3 kids. Yeah. And sort of just floated it. And then I just sort of jumped into transport with my cousin Vince, who was doing it, and then got into that and did that for a while. But yeah, it was just different. It was, there was no, I wasn't regimented. There wasn't, you had to be up at 7 to get trained at 8. So I was just floating. I didn't really know what I was going to do. But as I said, I was lucky I got into the transport side of things, which gave me a bit of purpose in life. But as I said, I still played footy. I played, my younger brother Ricky's, maybe 3 or 4 years younger than me. I never played a game of footy with him. I always said once I finished, I'd go back and play Killer Park. And those 2 years at Killer Park were it's not even a word, but the most funnest years.
Funnest, you can make that up, that's right.
No, it's the best part about it, because my man he watched every game all our kids play. It was netball with the sisters, footy, cricket, they'd be everywhere with us. Best part about playing at Killer Park, picture this, Killer Park out the back end of the airport, windy, shitty ground, used to be cold wind all the time. So you go over 2 hours and playing footy, you punch, don't punch on, but it's physical, you want to kill each other. come back in the rooms and there's communal showers. So there's 3 showers on one side.
Nothing better.
3 in the other. So you go there for 2 hours and you punch on with them, then come back in and
have a beer in the shower.
Yeah, but
how good.
Initially, you know what to do. And then the old man always used to rock in. Yes, put a 6-pack. For me and my brother, we just sit in the showers for a good hour and a half after every game, just having a stubby, talk on the opposition, have a dart in the showers, and away we go. And that was the best times of my life. I loved it because I played at Killer Park for so long. And mind you, when I played AFL, every time I wasn't playing on a Saturday, I'd be watching Killer Park. So I was always there. I played cricket there from the age of 7 till 40. So, you know, I've got mum and dad as life members there for both the footy and cricket club. So
beautiful.
it wasn't my second home, it wasn't my first home.
Yeah,
I was there all the time. So I love that bit. I love that bit about playing local footy, and it was okay. There's a couple of blokes trying to punch me up, but I had a couple of tough blokes at Killer Park that sort of
I was going to say,
backed me up because I'm no fighter, mate. But
you'd have a couple of heroes trying
the
to
good thing about playing at that age was when I played Killer Park, I still played against all the blokes I played against in juniors, so I knew most of them. So it was just a really good time in my life as a couple of years at Killer Park.
Not many 250 gamers, 2-time Premiership players can go back at 30 and still play against the blokes they played under.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
16s against.
It was funny, but some of those Saturday nights we had after the game, like you haven't seen these blokes for ages, I wouldn't leave the club till 2, 3 in the morning. It was just great fun. Local footy scene, I love it. I still follow it closely now. I've got my young fella playing at Abbas, so I just love the local footy club. Aberfeldy.
Aberfeldy, awesome. Young Josh Misiti at Aberfeldy.
Yeah.
Communal showers, we could spend 15 minutes on those. Beach, who we played against down the road, we played at Bomb Beach, you bloody bash the shit out of each other and go in. It was marvellous times.
That's it, brilliant. People don't realise, you try and explain it to people, so in 2 hours you're out there trying to punch him up, trying to bite his ear off, whatever you're trying to do, and then straight after the game you're having a beer with him. So that's just the way it is.
And you're in communal showers, it's marvellous.
And you love it.
10 seconds of awkwardness, maybe the first time, but then the next 10 years it's magnificent. Brilliantly, that's a real good takeaway, Joey. Now listen, the next 10 years or so, you found some structure. Tell us about some of that routine and systems, and you're a professional athlete for so long. How did you find your mindset around getting your system back? 3 beautiful young kids. You got all this drive and purpose that you need to be the best version of you. Your average week and your structure around that, the decade or so that followed.
Probably the first year, I was a little bit lost, didn't know what to do. I'd sleep, looking after a kid, so I was all over the place with sleep, but when I found work and I started working in transport, I just went back to just being regimented, waking up at a certain time, going to the gym or exercising in some form in the morning, having your work day, and then doing that and going forward from there. So I didn't like to sit around and do nothing because my brain's a little bit wild. I do get in a fair bit of trouble if I have too much time to do nothing. But I just found that I just took what I did at footy and took it to my work life. Because footy is very, very similar to a work life, I think. You're there all for the same reason, you're working in the team, you're all going in the same direction. So I thought it was very, very similar. So a lot of my footy I now take into my work life.
Automate everything and just limit decision making.
100%.
System and process.
I'm a big process man.
Process is king, bro.
I'm very regimented. I need to have everything. I know what I'm doing for the next 2 weeks already. I've got it in place. This is what I'm going to do this time. This is my time I'm going to leave. This is what time I'm going to get there. This is how much time I'm going to spend there. So I'm very, very time driven, mate. They invented the clock for a reason.
Yeah, well, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
so,
24 hours in a day. Now, golf's a big passion.
Yep.
You love your golf. Playoff 6, as we said off the top of the show. You're good at everything, aren't you? One of those blokes. Golf and cricket. You played a lot of cricket.
Mate, I didn't miss a game from age 7 until 40.
So you were still they let you play?
Yeah. Well, good thing about Essendon Sheeds was a mad cricketer. He played district grand finals at Richmond as leg spinner. So his big thing was, mate, because I did sneakily, pulled me over a trainer one night and he goes, "Heard you playing cricket?" I was only about, I think it was my first year. I said, I love my cricket sheets. He goes, "Mate, I'd rather you play cricket on a Saturday afternoon than sit in the pub all Saturday afternoon. So go for your life." And there was a couple of times where I cricket grand finals for Killer Park. We'd play an interstate practice game. He'd let me fly back early. One year he let me miss that game completely. I said, "Mate, I've got a bat, I'm next in. We're supposed to, what do I do?" He goes, "Mate, don't worry about it." This is when I was playing really well, so I was automatic selection. He let me stay home for a practice match one game to play cricket.
That's fantastic.
He was always good with other parts of your life. He knew that football shouldn't be your whole life. So he was great like that. If you ever had a problem or had an issue or you wanted time away, he would be the first. He'd come and talk to me, let me know what's going on, no worries. So he was brilliant like that.
Really, really well articulated, Joe. I think we're getting a good picture of Sheeds because we mentioned half art, half science. How's the art in that?
Yeah.
The ability, you don't coach at a club for 27 years at the highest level if you haven't got that empathy, the ability to know what's best for the individual, what works for Joey probably doesn't work for Mercs, and vice versa, and those kind of things are really important. You've lived a very happy life. You've got another 50 odd years to go, but I love the way you look at life. Your main passions at the moment, currently, we've got a few quick fire questions to finish off. Your main passions, some of your main stuff you've taken out of the last 49 odd years, brother?
Oh, shit.
I know, these are all questions off the cuff.
Yeah.
We never roll with notes here, great man.
No, I like that. I'm off
always
the
off the cuff, mate. Always in my brain.
Always have a purpose in life. Always know what you want to do and do it, and always plan. Dennis Pagan's favourite line is that if I want to plan, you plan to fail. Such a big one with me. If I want to do something, I'll go balls in. If I don't succeed, well, so be it, at least I've had a crack. Yeah. My favourite saying to my kids is just don't leave any stone unturned. You know, you may not get there, but have a crack. You just don't know what's going to happen. And you see a lot of people now, especially a lot of kids, they worry about the outcome before they get to the process. Have a process in place. If you do everything you plan to do and you don't get to where you want to get, it's not a failure because you've had a crack at it. You just might not be your avenue. That might not be the thing you're good at. But just keep trying things and don't ever think anything's out of reach because you find a lot of things aren't. You find a lot of things you can actually attain in life. You just have a crack. That's all. I'm big. Just have a crack. I don't care what it is or what you do. Just have a crack. See you go.
And love it, Joey. And
enjoy it.
Enjoy it. And never worry about what anyone says either. Block everyone else out because it's bullshit anyway.
Yeah. And another big one too. Keep the same group of friends around all the time. I've still got my Killer Park mates with me. I see them every week, once every 2 weeks, and they're from age. Like 5, my best mate Adam, I met him when he was 5 at Killer Park, and he's still my best mate now. And that same core of mates that have always been around. Like we've all gone to different parts of the world, had different jobs, but they're always there.
I don't think anyone that knows you or listens to this or knows a bit about you would find that surprising. It's just your group, your community, your connection, and you lift them up, they lift you up, and you haven't got a skerrick of ego about you, and you haven't changed since you were 5. So that's a beautiful thing, mate. I love that. And the really good takeaways. It was when you got a knockabout character like Joey, and we all love helping people, but we need to come from a light angle. But that last 90 seconds or so, listen to that on repeat. If you're a young person and you're not sure about where you want to go, doesn't matter what it is. Sport, doesn't matter what it is. Art, work, family life. That's the key.
And one other thing, and if you're stuck on something, ask for help. You'd be surprised how many people want to help you. Like you make a phone call. I'd ring people I don't know before because they've done something. I ring a bloke when I first started transport. He's big in transport. And I just rang him. Said, John Misiti here. He still didn't take it back. As Essendon football, I said, I just want to chat to you about transport, this and that. He goes, come out and meet me. I sat with him for 2 hours over coffee. I didn't even know this bloke. I just picked the phone up. I said, don't be scared to do that because a lot of kids are scared to do that now. They've got this issue with communication. But just ask questions because you'd be surprised how many people want to help you.
And what's the worst thing they're going to?
Just say no.
That's
Dad's favourite saying is if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah. And if you're not great at something, or if it's something you're really passionate about, but you're not great at yet, how are you ever going to get better if you don't keep showing up and these kind of things? So you didn't get to a six handicap overnight, Joey.
No, I didn't, mate. No, and I fluctuate wildly.
You kept showing up. Right, that is golden from the great Sentiment Smokin Joe. Some quick fires. These are also made up off the top of my head, if you don't mind. I like these ones. Best player ever played significantly on 1v1.
Greg Williams.
Diesel.
Well, I played on him in my 3rd game, and this is when he was at the peak. I'd never learned so much about footy in that 2 hours I played on him. Wow. 3rd game, Sheeds goes on the ball Thursday night. Misiti Williams, Sheeds, you made a mistake. I made it as a kid. He goes, no, you're not, you'll be right. I'm leading on him all game. So I played him I think I had 28, 29 touches. He had about 38. But just the angles he ran, and he was
very
slower than me.
Yeah.
But the angles he ran, and when he knew to ran, I couldn't believe it. And as I said, I learnt so much about footy in that 2 hours than I did nearly my whole career. And
now Joey's 6'1", but obviously I'm a lot smaller, but as a slow midfielder, I looked up to Joey and Diesel absolutely ad nauseum, and the other player, Buddha Hockey, my favourite of all time, he would have belted you if you would have had a few belted him.
Oh, you could belt him a couple of times. Yeah. He was just hard at it. But off the field, he's so quiet, he couldn't get a word out of him. But another fielder, if you're on my way, get the fuck out because I'm coming through. But he was brilliant. Get the ball, left, right foot. He was a superstar.
He was a superstar. And very underrated, as are you and the Annals of Time. Tell me about the most annoying player, Oppo. Tagger type run with, gave you the shits.
Yeah, Josh Carr, Port Adelaide.
He would have given
He
me a few
was
of
a
the
pain in the ass.
And umpires didn't seem to see anything back then.
They didn't. I'd love to play nowadays when there's 4 umpires and they see
They're
everything.
grabbing everything. Yeah. Taggers can do whatever the hell they want. They can't even call them taggers anymore.
There's a few. Another one of my favourite players was Scotty West. It's got a good story about Scotty West. He played at Strathmore, I played at Killer Park, same comp. So we played on each other from under 12s until I retired when I was 29.
Wow.
And it used to be the same. We used to go shake hands in the centre. So Scotty, how you going, Joe? I'll see you after the game. Because we didn't go nowhere near each other. We just ran completely different directions. But mate, to play on someone for 20 years,
that's amazing. From
under 12s to senior AFL was it's I think it's a great story.
Great footballer, Scotty, of course, 7 BNFs, so whatever it is. But obviously you would have given all them up for one of your...
He already gave me a deal, so I said him a fair bit. He goes, I'll give you 4 of my BNFs for one of your flags. I said, you can have them, mate, I don't need them.
Most freakish you've seen from the Oppo first?
Oh, mate. Well, I played the game when Gary Albert kicked 14 goals 7. So I think
not good enough to win, though, I reckon.
How do you have 21 shots on goal? Not one handball for the day. The funny thing was, we get there before Geelong, and this is when he was up and going, so with Geelong. Gone to the pre-game meeting on a Thursday night, pre-planning, and they get on the board and said, what should we do? What should we allow Gary Albert to kick for the game? Because, if we kept him, and we said, we had a number, we said 4. We kept him 4 goals, we're going to go well, we're going to win the game. Yeah. Anyway, after the game, the funny thing was, I think Chrissy Daniel played on him, Hurdy played on him, Fletch played, there was about 5-6 players that rotated.
Derek Kickett had a go?
100%. And we won, and she just funny was, looked at the 4 players and goes, we said 4 goals, we didn't say 4 goals per quarter. But that was the most freakish game I played on. I showed my son that game, and he's commenting, mate, he goes, is this game over a month? I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, the scoreline was 31 goals to 29. So there was, 60 goals. I said, mate, that's how it used to be in the day. Because he's used to saying, 7 goals to 9, I think it's an entertaining game. Well,
mate, to be honest, that's how quickly footy changed in that capacity. Like,
yeah.
That game there, where Fish kicked 10, you guys got the win.
Yeah.
And it was only a decade later, the year after you finished, was the Swans flag. And Ruzzi's been a guest on this show. He's coming here in a few weeks, and he obviously they were winning games with 7-8 goals.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how quick the game changed.
Yeah. Funny stat about that one. Edwards kicked 14 goals 7, got 3 votes. Savins kicked 10 goals 4, kicked 2. Who got the 1 vote?
Don't tell me.
I had 35 in the middle.
Yes.
I love telling that story.
I love that story, and I know you're a big Fox footy man, and you'd watch a lot of those old school games. Tell me, Joey.
I don't mind watching myself. I'm open and honest. I love it.
I love watching it.
I love it.
So my wife comes in the middle of November, December, and says, "What's the 80s and 90s footy going on?" I know you're a bit the same.
Yeah, I love footy then. I love footy.
1984, you're watching.
I went to 84, 85 with Dad and my Uncle Choco to the grand final. So. It was just a great time to be alive, to be an Essendon supporter. Not too sure about now, but back then, mate, we were a powerhouse. It was hard to beat us, and as I said, if we didn't make finals for a year, that was deemed as a failed season.
Most brilliant teammate, Joey?
Oh, mate, I had a few. I can't separate. I've got to put Hurdy, Michael Long, Gavin Wanganeen, Mark Mercuri. I had Lloyd here, we had Scotty Lucas. Mate, I still do yourself a favour of this. Everyone says Michael Long's goal, grand final down the wing, was best goal you've ever seen. Go watch Michael Long's goal in the start of the 3rd quarter against the Crows in the prelim. He gets into the centre, he's got about this much space, and there's 4 Crows. I don't know what he does, he turns it on, goes left, goes right, and kicks the goal. It's the most freakish goal I've ever seen, and that's he was cutting all those things. YouTube. Joey said some great words earlier, but go to YouTube as well for that.
What about at training the most cutthroat, animalistic teammate that you're a pretty laid back fella, you do hard work, but you're not in the mood to get the shit bashed out of your training, that you sort of try to stay away from in game sim?
Dean Solomon.
Animal?
Dean Solomon, Damien Hardwick, the last bloke I thought of his senior coach, hated training, hated team meetings, hated warming up, hated warming down, so I don't know how he's become a great senior coach at Richmond. But across the line, he was a madman. He's a madman.
He was a wild.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And even a training by the sense.
Yeah, and Gary Moorcroft was one. He didn't want to go near. He was a
little angry redhead.
Little angry redhead. Gazza, he's a legend of a man, but
he was playing now.
Well, his nickname was Slash because one day he went out in pre-season, come back to training, and he got stabbed. So he had a stab mark there.
Where did he get stabbed?
At a party. He's from the north, and he had a party, and someone stabbed him.
Part for the course up there.
So his nickname was Slash after that. So.
You don't get stabbed once a month at a northern party. You're not really going to parties, are you, Joe?
Kept me away from that stuff.
Right, and last one off the cuff. Your top 3 Bomber players as your wingman circa mid-90s.
Oh.
If you had to pick 3, I know this is hard, I'm sorry.
I've got down Alessio, Mercuri, Calthorpe.
Piece for you.
Piece, man.
You're a great man. I really appreciate your time. Now, I feel like we've covered everything. Look, there was some really important stuff with mindset and real processes and why Joey's been so successful in every avenue of his life over the last 49 and a bit years. Big milestone next week.
Big one, mate.
Happy birthday. Now, tell the listeners. Now, the great man, in my research, I realised that Joey's birthday on the day of filming is 9 or 10 days away from the big milestone. I texted him and go, mate, you're in a great time of year, spring carnival and the like. And, tell us what you got planned.
Oh shit! What do I do? I think it starts tomorrow. I'm playing golf at Woodlands, then we'll get the piss. And Derby Day Saturday. I've got a couple of mates who've got a big chance in the Derby with the Red Aces. So I'll be with them. Hopefully that wins, and that might open up a whole week of shenanigans. But then next week, mate, I'm just a week off work. Thursday, Friday crown, then I'm going to go Saturday night to the nice family barbecue, and then Sunday just top it all off. I've got 40 of my closest mates going to the pub and just really amping things up.
I counted 8 days, but I'm very confident that Sunday, a week from now, we'll roll into the 9th and the 10th, and Joey will just make it a nice double figures for his half century. Now, great man, what's the future hold for you? You're only just warming up, you're just about to peak. What's the future hold for Joey? Extracurricular stuff, bit of fun, bit more golf, life?
I coach a lot of juniors at Abbas. I coach from 12s to 17. I coached my son all the way through. I haven't coached for 3 or 4 years. Contemplating maybe a senior having a crack or doing some more research to see how much work's involved, because I know a lot of work involved, but I get frustrated watching local footy because I don't think coaches know what they're doing. A lot of them when I watch the AFL on TV, then try and tell their local players to do it. But if I'm a log, if you haven't got the foundations, if you can't kick handball mark, there's no use doing these flash AFL drills on a Thursday night.
And vernacular.
Yeah, so I'm big on basics. You have to be able to. When I coach the 17s at AFL, I used to tell them you have to touch the footy 200 times before you start training. We start training at 6, you're going to get there early and touch the ball 200 times. I don't care if it's just throwing the ball at each other. I don't care if you're just mucking around, but just you get a partner and you've got to touch the ball 200 times. And I saw kids that fumble all the time, had no confidence going with the ball, just become one grab players after probably 6-8 weeks. Because you train twice, you're touching the ball 400 times before you start training. 20 or 30 out training, so you touch the ball 500 times a week, which I think the big one is in local footy. They want to have these fancy drills and these different things. I'm big on the basics, so I like to have a look to see what that looks like. As I said, I know it's a lot of work, but I just like to have a look to see if that would suit doing it. Because I love coaching the kids, but to jump up and maybe coach a senior club, we'll see what happens.
I think you're well suited. I was going to say an hour ago, but I forgot about your coaching pursuits. I think it's a no-brainer, to be fair. With your attitude, your persona, and your game knowledge and experience, there's probably none better. And I agree with you. Lockie Neal, big 1,000 touches a week, 1,000 touches a week. Look how he's carved himself out. Self-made yourself. We used to throw footies against the wall, but no one probably does it anymore.
No, I don't think they do, mate.
And then the vernacular.
Talk about sports science.
Yeah,
you only train for 17.5 minutes, and there's no goal kicking. If you're a forward at a local club, you get 100 shots a goal a week.
Pretty sure that's what wins games, and I'm in the game, I always push back and always go with the football route, because at the end of the day you've got to be able to play the game.
100%.
Sports science means fuck all.
Yeah.
Joey Misiti, what a man. Now, I know this one's going to be popular, because I don't know if there's a more popular AFL football. I really appreciate you. Guys, he's in between hectic schedule. He's never met me before. We only just met 2 hours ago. He's got big dog at his feet. He's had a great time. We've had a delicious coffee. He's got to go to the gym, and he's got meetings. We might have a very quick beer. He's a great man, Joey. I really appreciate your time, great man. We might get him back in a year or two when he's coaching Abbas, the seniors.
I didn't say Abbas, I said maybe look at the senior coaches.
We'll be coaching senior coaches. One of the greatest centremen of all time, easily the smartest that I've seen, and probably the most popular footballer of all time. 2-time Premiership player, Essendon legend, Smokin Joe Misiti. It is a magnificent day to be alive.
Hey, brother. It was a pleasure, brother.